you do need to first identify what is your primary goal. People use content for a lot of different reasons, but most of the time we see it fall into the categories lead generation, sales enablement, SEO, or thought leadership. Those are like 4 very overarching categories. Now, most clients we'll talk to will say, yes, I want all of that. That's great. Yes. That's great. But one needs to be primary because that's going to really drive the overall strategy. So for example, if your goal is SEO, if all you're trying to do is improve all the rankings of different keywords that people are searching for to find your company and to really drive more organic search, then your strategy is going to be very heavily weighted to on-site content because you need a lot of really good, high quality on-site content. And then you will be focusing on getting some backlinks, some off-site content, but that's not going to be the main priority. Whereas if your goal is lead generation, you do need to be doing both. You need to be getting in front of new potential prospects by getting content off-site. You need to have a great funnel. So you need to have gated content. You need to have a good email newsletter. Like there's just different elements that you need depending on which goal is primary. So that is the first thing, is really identifying which goal is primary for your business. And then your second question of the KPIs to measure or metrics to measure, that needs to be aligned to the goal that is most important. So if your goal is lead generation, you should be tracking how many leads you're generating. That seems so obvious, but we will talk to companies where their goal is lead generation, and then they're asking us for stats on how many social shares their articles got. We'll give you those, but they're vanity metrics. They're not really telling you if we're accomplishing your goal. And so making sure that the metrics that you're tracking are aligned with the goals that you're setting. And then the other thing I'll just add on content marketing strategy in general, it is a long-term initiative. This is not a marketing strategy that you should be changing up every 3 months or saying, we're going to run a 2-month test. It takes so much longer than that. For example, when we started really investing in the, what I would call like inbound content marketing machine for Influence & Co., it was 6 months before we started seeing consistent growth in lead gen because there's just so many different foundational things you need to set up to really make the most of it. But what's exciting is that with it being such a long-term strategy, it compounds on itself over time. So we are still getting leads from articles that I wrote 6 or 7 years ago. We put the time, the effort, the money into those 7 years ago, and we're still reaping the benefits today. So it is a good long-term strategy, but that's the biggest mistake I see people make is they try to put together like a 3-month content marketing sprint to test, and that's just not going to be effective for this type of marketing.